Now, here's something that you won't hear from the mainstream media. I mean, not at all. Comcast's recent launch of their Now TV, coupled with a reported disagreement over Hulu's valuation between Comcast and Disney, suggests potential consolidation of streaming services and a very rocky exit for Comcast from Hulu. We're going to dive into this very devious move by Comcast to further stick it to Disney. Here we go. Comcast's introduction of Now TV is a $20 a month vMVPD service, which just means it's a value service that you can subscribe to, get live television and other things all on demand for the most part. And this particular launch has raised some speculation about the company's strategic intentions regarding its ownership interest in Hulu, as it is set to, essentially sell its portion in January of 2024. I don't think anybody can argue that. But right now, the reported disagreement over Hulu's valuation between Comcast and Disney executives adds some complexity and maybe even some hostility. The situation, of course, has been brewing for a while, and it potentially sets the stage for Comcast to pull its content from Hulu entirely as soon as the contracts that are out there have expired. That way, they can consolidate all of their content onto their own streaming services in partnership with others, and we'll get to that in just a moment. If you're interested in all the details surrounding Hulu's fate in particular, you can go check out Valiant Renegade's videos on the subject matter and his live streams, as well as WDW Pro, because they've both been doing an excellent job on that aspect of this conversation. But there's more here. It's very almost insidious. And I think we're going to dive right into that. There's excellent, exhaustive, extensive analysis on the Hulu purchase itself from some other sources I just cited, and I'll leave them down in the description below. First of all, this disparity in valuations between Comcast and Disney regarding Hulu is a significant factor in understanding Comcast's potential plans. You see, Comcast's estimation of Hulu puts its valuation somewhere around $70 billion or more. At least that was numbers that they pulled out of their hat in 2021. Now, this contrasts very significantly with Disney's much lower evaluation. In fact, so low that it's tens of billions lower, like a lot. And that discrepancy suggests a notable gap in the perceived worth or the actual value of this platform between the two companies. Ostensibly, that's bringing into focus that the only value that Hulu actually has is within its content. Now, see, under the joint ownership agreement, which was apparently altered by Disney or amended by Disney along the way, unbeknownst to Comcast, it's kind of strange, Comcast actually holds the option to require Disney to buy out its stake in Hulu as early as January 2024. Now, executives from both companies have expressed expectations of Comcast selling to Disney, with Comcast CEO Brian Roberts actually stating publicly recently that that is likely to occur. Now, this implies that Comcast is already washing its hands very clean of this particular partnership and from its ownership stake in Hulu. And that's likely a very bad sign indeed for Disney. Here's why. Disney's decision to integrate Hulu content into its Disney Plus streaming service domestically without involving or informing Comcast adds another layer of complexity to an already very multiple layered cake. This move is seen as Disney asserting more control over Hulu before its ownership claim is full, and potentially positioning itself to acquire Comcast's majority stake in the future. In other words, Disney's cards are all on the table, and it's destroying any leverage that they would have had during negotiation. Putting that very plainly, they're exposed. The contents rights concern cited for a reason Comcast's change of heart about purchasing Disney's majority stake in Hulu clearly indicates that Comcast's desire for full control over its content distribution is paramount. And by launching Now TV and offering a comprehensive entertainment bundle, Comcast could actually be creating an alternative streaming service where it can house its content without relying on Hulu at all. It can further leverage its expanded relationship in rival television viewership, as it has already done, with Warner Brothers, Discovery, and a lot of their different channel offerings. And of course, there's a whole coterie of channels that, well, they'll be willingly included in the Now TV bundle. This is going to be very bad for the mouse indeed. The ongoing arbitration dispute between Disney and Comcast over their partnership further exacerbates the tensions between the two companies because, after all, and above all else, they are bitter rivals. This disagreement may serve as an additional motivator for Comcast to explore options to separate itself entirely from Hulu, lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, and then focus in on their own streaming ventures. In other words, how can we most hurt Disney and not only salt the wound, but maybe also salt the ground? The conclusion here is something you're not going to hear anywhere else, and it's with the recent launch of Now TV by Comcast, coupled with the reported disagreement over Hulu's valuation, raises a lot of speculation about Comcast's intentions regarding its content's future on Hulu. That's just a fancy way of saying they're probably going to take their ball and go home. Consolidation of streaming services and the withdrawal of Comcast content from Hulu will leave Disney with very little at the end of all of this. In fact, all of that value that they were trying to retain, well, it's going to be lost almost entirely. However, I want to bring this up, and it's an important note. This analysis is based on all of the available information that we have right now. And until there's some official announcements or confirmations are made by the companies involved, the situation remains subject to change, although I would say both are fairly committed to their paths. Let me say this. I have a feeling Comcast is about to become a big winner, and that's all going to be at the mouse's expense. Now, if you like this type of analysis and you still haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a moment of just our regular day-to-day coverage, and of course our live streams, and the occasional specialty item as well. Now, with all that presented to you, what do you think? Please feel free to use the comment section down below. I think this is going to be a hot button subject for some people, and I'd love to have that conversation. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Today, be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.